that millions of people have lost their lives in the womb, smited by their own mothers due to the propaganda of the state and feminism, and that is something which has happened, and from my view, is mass murder. I have pointed out multiple times that there's a massive illegal immigration crisis which is going on, which has cost thousands upon thousands of people their lives in crime, even more in fentanyl and overdosing, even more in the drug trade which is going on there, which is going on due to the illegal immigration which is happening in the nation. I can go on and on and on and on and on, but when you make these crazy ass claims, nobody's losing their lives, you're quite wrong.
Andrew Wilson wrecks this feminist for her blatant lies in this debate, attempting to gaslight Americans into thinking our country is not under threat from the trans feminist woke ideology that has brainwashed so many people today, as Andrew Wilson calls out her BS because everyday Americans are losing their lives because of it. Let's get in.
About these like niche issues like trans people in sports, which at the end of the day does not overwhelmingly affect the population. Sure, there's disagreements about that, but it's also not war. It's not a battle. Nobody's losing their life over it. Nobody's actively in danger in these whether it's trans sports or gay marriage or whatever the fuck. Nobody's actually in danger from any of that. So it's crazy to frame it as combat and as battle. That is intentionally trying to trigger the fight or flight response in your audience. And
I'm not intentionally trying to trigger a fight or flight response. I am intentionally explaining exactly what I think, which is that it is an ideological battle, that millions of people have lost their lives in the womb, smited by their own mothers due to the propaganda of the state and feminism, and that is something which has happened, and from my view, is mass murder. I have pointed out multiple times that there's a massive illegal immigration crisis which is going on, which has cost thousands upon thousands of people their lives in crime, even more in fentanyl and overdosing, even more in the drug trade which is going on there, which is going on due to the illegal immigration which is happening in the nation. I can go on and on and on and on and on, but when you make these crazy ass claims, nobody's losing their lives, you're quite wrong. They are losing their lives. They get killed often. Hang on, they get killed often enough that Chicago is a battleground, a literal war zone going on in Chicago. More people were losing their lives there a day than were losing their lives in Afghanistan during the war. Were you aware of that? Yes, not kidding. Look up the stats yourself. Look it up yourself. It is the case that there are literal fucking war zones and battlegrounds right now in the United States. You just don't know anything about it because you've never looked into it. But some of us have. And the thing is that it's nice that you go into these hunky-dory neighborhoods and ask people who are out doing their daily stuff, maybe, what their ideology is. But remember, there's also something called phraseology. And the idea is here you can actually phrase questions in a way which affirms bias. So I don't like, you're so ignorant on these issues, it's difficult for me to even trust what you're saying to me right now. It's actually difficult for me to. Why would you raise a skeptical eyebrow when I mentioned Chicago? Why? You don't know how bad things are there? What about Detroit? Do you know how bad things are there? It's fucking bad. I don't know what to tell you. It's real bad. It's not good.
Well, I will say this, as somebody who has been to literal active war zones and somebody who has been to Chicago and to Detroit, who
what
lives
active war zones have you been in?
I've been to Syria and I've been to Yemen.
What active war zones were you in?
Syria, which is...
No. That's a country.
No,
I'm talking about an active war zone, not if there's a war going on in the country, but you happened to be in the country when there was a war. What war zone were you in? Did you see the battle of with your own eyes because you were there and you were watching people blow each other to bits, or did you happen to go to the country while a war was going on and you were in the safety zones? Which one's actually true?
I have seen a bomb go off and I have seen people die in front of me.
Where did that happen?
In Syria, in Yemen.
So in Syria, you were a war correspondent and you watched people get blown up?
I wasn't a war correspondent, but I have been in dangerous places. So I've been to Syria, I've been to Yemen, I have been to Israel as well. So I've seen the front lines of what war is, and it is horrific, and that is dangerous. And I don't even need.
It's really funny that you went to Israel and you don't realize that entire war that's going on there is ideological. Very little of it is actually physical. It's almost all ideological.
Let me know what you think down below, but personally, I don't think this woman has actually seen active war. I don't think she's really seeing front lines. I don't think she's seeing like the up close personal thick of it. No, I'm not buying that. But that's my personal opinion. I don't really know who this woman is. But to gaslight Americans into thinking, especially now with Charlie Kirk being, ended, that we're not under threat from the trans feminists, all this woke ideological crap, because that's exactly what's going on. Like Andrew Wilson is saying, like, we are under war of ideologies. And these insane people who have been using violence to either go after Kirk, Trump, multiple other people, Scalia, for years, Rand Paul, hell, I mean, he's almost been ended twice, like for years and years, the left has been becoming more and more violent, and they keep trying to say, oh, we're not the bad guys. No, it's the far right. No, it's everyone else. No, it's the normal everyday Americans who want closed borders and don't want, 600,000 criminals into our country who are illegal, not to mention the other millions. It's like, it's just insanity to believe that our country is not under attack or threat from the policies that are made as a result of these ideologies. These people, these politicians in power that think this way, put this pen to paper into written law, and this is what you're getting out of it. You're getting Chicago, you're getting all these cities with so much violent crime, you're getting the border that was opened under Joe Biden, you're getting all the drugs that are coming into all these cities on the left, the fentanyl cry. All of this is happening, and then apparently it's not okay for women to just have endless abortions now, but no one's losing their lives. No one's losing their lives. Between all of that, no one is losing their lives. No, left's policies and ideology results in basically nothing but people losing their lives. But hit that like button and notification bell if you're enjoying the video. It helps the algorithm. I appreciate it. And let's get back in.
Are you arguing that, okay. I was not talking about politically outside of the US. When I talk about the grifting that you're doing, I am assuming that is going to US consumers or maybe people in Canada, but English speaking.
I think people worldwide have bought the course.
Okay. You know what? Then if
so it's global grifting, baby. Global grifting. That university in the name is just making people lap it up. They're so fucking stupid. They don't realize it, even though all the marketing that I did was that, hey, this will probably assist you with your debate skills. And it seems to have actually done just that. Actually, these people are so stupid, they thought that they were going to get like a fucking, I don't know, a diploma inside of the Cracker Jacks box. I don't know what it is that you actually think here, but
baby, if you're saying that if your course is helping the folks in the Congo and in Palestine and in Yemen, then more power to you.
Do you think that people? Do you think that people who are in different nations may have different priorities for the things that they value? Like perhaps people in the Congo value monkey brains more than they do debate, but perhaps people who live in the middle of the UK, who are in an ideological battle from tons and tons of Muslims being imported into their country, may need to have an edge in political debate because that's the problem they're dealing with. Do you think that maybe problems are diverse around the world and that the debate course wasn't designed to solve AIDS in Africa?
Andrew, my whole point just now was that I imagine that your courses and your content is being pushed to the US and to Canada and to English-speaking nations that are more in line with what we're dealing with here in the US and not actually what's going on in war-torn places. But we're getting off track.
So what's the grift?
Again, my argument for your grift is that things here in the US, it's not a war zone. Ideologically, it's not a war. Online, it may seem like that because the algorithm is pushing to people that it is, because people tend to engage with the content that they hate more than the content that they love. If you trigger somebody's fight or flight, and if you trigger that level of cortisol rise in them, they're going to stick around and they're going to consume that content. It's not healthy for them. It results in increased levels of anxiety, in isolation, in depression, in suicidal ideation. It's not good.
Link the study.
That's NIH Library of Medicine. I don't have a laptop.
NIH Library of Medicine. What's it called?
It's, if you look up the consequences of hate watching, I think, is what I ended up looking up to
The
find.
consequences of hate watching.
That's been a study that they've done to see what the effects on these hateful content watching is doing to people.
Now, this I find to be absolutely hilarious. She wants to bring up studies talking about hate watching and accuse Andrew Wilson and people on the right. You know what? I will grant this woman her study. I haven't even looked at it. I'm just going to assume it's true. But with that said, and that being true, who's really pushing the hate? Who's really been pushing the hateful content for the last decade? Ever since Trump started being in office, it's been racist, Nazi, fascist, just like she said, pumped into your phone, pumped into your the algorithm by big tech, who is basically almost all on the left. Mark Zuckerberg, you got Jeff Bezos, all these people who are aligned with the Democrats, with the deep state, with all of this uniparty nonsense, right? They're the ones who have access to your phones. They're the ones pushing the algorithm and all the hateful content that has been Trump, Nazi, all of this for years and years and years. Who's really spreading the hate? Is it Andrew Wilson? Was it Charlie Kirk? Who got ended? Was it all these people on the right? Was it really them? Or is this again projection from the left stating we are the thing that we claim to hate, but we're just going to blame you for it? But folks, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought about what Andrew Wilson had to say, calling out this feminist blatant lies in this clip. Thanks again, like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.